It was a Friday night at Le Grand Vi, one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city. The room glowed with soft golden light. The tables were filled with wealthy guests, laughing over champagne and expensive meals. At the center of it all sat Richard Hale, a white billionaire CEO known for his arrogance and charm. He was surrounded by a few of his business friends, all equally smug, their laughter echoing across the room. A black waitress, Maria, approached their table. She carried herself with quiet grace, though she was clearly tired after a long shift. As she placed down their wine glasses, one of Richard's friends whispered something, and they all laughed. Richard smirked and said loud enough for others to hear, "If anyone here can beat me in a chess match, I'll pay them $100 million. The table erupted in laughter. It was meant as a joke, a show of power, the kind that humiliated others while entertaining his guests. Maria smiled politely, then softly said, "$100 million is a lot, sir. You must be unbeatable." Richard chuckled. "Let's just say it's never happened. Besides, I doubt anyone here even knows how to play properly." His tone was light, but condescending. The waitress's eyes flickered, not with anger, but quiet dignity. She didn't respond, only continued to serve their food. A few tables away, a young girl around 12 years old sat quietly, sketching in a small notebook. It was Leah, Maria's daughter. The manager had allowed her to sit in the corner while her mother worked. Since it was late, when Maria went to check on her daughter during a break, Leah whispered, "Mom, did that man really say he'd pay $100 million to whoever beats him?" Maria smiled tiredly. "He was just joking, sweetheart. People like him say things like that to show off." Leah tilted her head thoughtfully. "But what if he wasn't joking?" Maria chuckled softly, brushing a curl from her daughter's forehead. "Finish your drawing, okay?" A little while later, the restaurant quieted. The rich guests had finished their meals and were now chatting casually. Richard noticed the little girl in the corner. "Hey, who's that?" he asked. Maria hesitated. "That's my daughter, sir. She's just waiting for me to finish." Richard smirked. "Your daughter? Huh. Maybe she wants to take up my challenge." His friends laughed again, but to everyone's surprise, Leah stood up. She was small, but her eyes were sharp and confident. "Actually," she said clearly, "I would like to try." The room went silent. Maria froze. "Leah, no, sweetie," but Richard raised a hand, amused. No, let her play. This should be fun." He waved to a waiter. "Bring a chess set." Within moments, a small board was set up on their table. The billionaire leaned back, smiling arrogantly. "All right, little lady, what's your name?" "Leah." "Okay, Leah, you beat me, and I'll give you $100 million. You said that already," she replied simply. The crowd chuckled nervously. The waitress stood nearby, heart pounding. She wanted to stop it, but something in Leah's expression told her this wasn't just a child's game. The match began. Richard moved quickly, making confident, sharp plays. Leah watched quietly, her face calm. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. Richard's smile started to fade. Leah moved with precision, her fingers steady. His friends leaned forward, whispering among themselves. Then, in a single smooth move, Leah placed her queen down. "Checkmate," she said softly. The table fell silent. Richard stared at the board, disbelief washing over his face. His friends exchanged awkward looks. How did you?" Leah shrugged lightly. "My mom told me when I was 5. She said chess teaches you how to think before you move." Maria covered her mouth, tears filling her eyes. The entire restaurant seemed frozen. Richard sat back, speechless. His pride had just been quietly shattered. Not by another CEO, not by a rival, but by a little girl who came from nothing. Finally, Leah smiled politely and said, "You don't need to pay me, but you should probably be more careful with your jokes." A few people clapped softly. It started with one waiter, then another, until nearly everyone in the restaurant was applauding. Richard looked around, his face red, but instead of anger, a strange respect filled his eyes. He turned toward Maria. "You taught her that?" Maria nodded nervously. "Yes, sir. I tried to teach her that being poor doesn't mean being less smart." The billionaire paused for a moment, then slowly stood up. He extended his hand to Leah. "You've got a brilliant mind, young lady. I'm a man of my word. Maybe not $100 million, but I'll make sure your education is fully covered." Leah blinked in surprise. "Really?" He nodded. "Consider it a promise from one chess player to another." Maria's lips trembled as she tried to hold back tears. "Sir, you don't have to. I want to," Richard interrupted softly. "And I owe you both an apology for my arrogance. You reminded me that wisdom doesn't wear a price tag." Weeks later, Maria and Leah were invited to Richard's company headquarters. Leah received a scholarship letter, fully funded by the company foundation, tuition, books, and even a mentorship program. Richard stood beside them, now genuinely humble. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "life reminds you that respect is worth more than money." Maria smiled, holding Leah's hand, "And sometimes," she replied, "kindness wins the real game. Hate divides, but kindness heals. True greatness isn't in wealth or power, it's in how we treat others."